It looks so out of focus. Maybe I should close the blind. Is that better? Not really. Oh well. Hello everyone. Yes, my hair is bleached and also wet. Don't talk about it. Also, it has been 2 months at least since my last video. Oops. Life has just been a little crazy with the state of the world and depression and starting a full-time job. I just haven't had the time/energy to make videos. But it is October, it is my month, so I am planning on making at least 3, hopefully 4 or more videos this month. Don't quote me on that, but there will be at least 3 videos this month. So that I can promise you. But this one, I am deciding to do a little story time because not the day I'm filming this, but the day I am putting it up will be the 1 year anniversary since one of the scariest things to ever happen to me. As you can see in the title, it involves, a dog attack, and if that sort of thing is upsetting to you, I will be talking about it. I'm not going to go into too much detail on the attack itself, so hopefully, it won't be too upsetting, but you might want to move on along if that sort of thing bothers you. I will be putting up pictures later, but I will do a little warning beforehand, so if you don't want to see like my bloody face, then you can look away if you don't want to see the pictures, but I'll let you know when that's coming. But so let's just get into the story. So I used to do pet sitting back in the day, mostly dogs, sometimes cats, but our old neighbor, she started a pet sitting business while we lived next door to her, and she kind of hired me, and I was never like an official employee. Like I didn't sign any papers, it was just like a small business. It was just like whenever she needed an extra hand, she would, text me or whatever and be like, hey, can you pet sit on this day? It was that kind of thing. But this particular instance was a dog she was fostering. It wasn't someone else's pet. It was, well, technically he wasn't anyone's pet at the time. She was just fostering him. But he had been very badly abused in the past, and he had been labeled aggressive because he had attacked people before. But they sent him to the pound. He was going to be put down, and I'll call her Jan. That's not her real name, but I'm going to call her Jan for the purposes of this video. Let's see if I remember that fake name later. But so Jan just had a real heart for animals, and she heard about this dog and did not want him to be put down. So she drove to where he was, I don't remember where, and picked him up, brought him to her place, and she was fostering him. She was working with dog trainers to try and get him rehabilitated so they can find a new home for him. And she was going out of town for, I don't know, a week. And so it was going to be me and another girl watching him. So like I would watch him for a few days. They also had their own dog and a cat living there at the time too. So I would be there for a few days, and then she would be there for a few days. So since he was like a special case, he was being trained and had hurt people in the past. She had us both come in a few days before she was leaving so we could meet him and she could kind of train us. And she usually did that with me with every new animal, just so I could, meet the animal and all that kind of stuff. But since he was a special case, she really wanted him to meet us ahead of time. And when I went to meet him, it seemed fine. He did not seem, aggressive or anything, and she did not make him out to seem like he would just, at the drop of a hat. And it all seemed like it would be okay. The only problem that I really saw was she had me take him for a walk, just like a short walk to, see how to handle him on the leash and that kind of stuff. And he kept trying to like playfully bite my foot, but he wasn't biting hard, and I just was able to kind of shake my foot and kind of shake him off. So it didn't really worry me too much. I didn't think that she would be having us stay with him if there was any chance of anything bad happening. So a few days later, it's time for me to start my shift, whatever you want to call it. So my mom brings me over there, drops me off, and so I get there, and she had told me to Jesus, I'm suddenly getting anxious thinking about it. Sorry. So she told me to first thing, go in and let him out to use the bathroom, all of the animals. And she said every time I would go into his room, because she kept him in a separate room away from the other animals and everything. She said every time I went in there to bring him a couple treats so that he would kind of equate me with something good, So I go in there with some treats, and she told me it was okay to give him like short, light pats, like nothing prolonged, nothing too rough, but like small sort of things on his head were fine. So I gave him some treats, and I, gave him a soft pat on the head. I was like, good boy. And then he kind of looked at me for a second, and with absolutely no warning, he just lunged at me. And, the anxiety. Like I said, I'm not going to go too much into detail. One, because, it's not really necessary. And two, because I don't really remember a lot in the moment. It happened very quickly, and obviously I was panicking, and it's all just kind of a blur. But he got my face a couple times. He got both hands, and he got my left foot. And so I was freaking out, but obviously trying to stay calm, because I didn't want to hurt him or come off as aggressive towards him, because that would only make it worse. And I wanted to get out of the room without him, because one, he needs to stay in there so he doesn't follow me out, and also there's another dog and a cat in the house, and I don't want him getting to them while he's in that kind of mood. So I'm really, like, people kept asking me, like, how did you manage to get out of the room? And I'm like, honestly, I don't know. I think he just calmed down for long enough for me to open the door and slip out, because he basically had me backed up against, not literally against the door, but right by the door. So he just stopped for a second long enough for me to get out, and I was literally, like, blood was dripping on the floor. I was crying and panicking. First thing I do is go look in the bathroom, and I had a gash right here. I don't know my crappy camera, but this red line right here is a scar still. And I have some scars on my hands. You're probably not good. Nah, that one you can see. That's a scar. And there's a couple small ones. You can't really see them because I'm just using my phone camera and it sucks. But yeah, so I quick went and grabbed my phone, called my mom, crying. I'm like, Mom, come back. He attacked me. Um, so it's my roommate. I was like, Mom, come back. He attacked me. She's like, what? I'm on my way. So, like, I don't remember exactly. Like, it happened so soon after I got there and was over so quick that, like, she wasn't even 5 minutes down the road, probably. Um, so after I get off the phone with her, um, I think my phone was dying too, so I was kind of panicked. Like, hopefully she gets here quick because, like, I can't use my phone. But I am just like walking around the house, dripping blood everywhere, like panicking. Um, he broke my thumbnail. I usually have really long nails. I don't right now because the job I work at, I need to keep them short. But he broke my thumbnail, and I just kind of like broke that off. Not like off. Like it wasn't even down to the quick, but like, he just broke the long part off. I just kind of dropped that in the kitchen sink because I didn't know where the trash can was. I went in the bathroom and used like a wet hand towel to try and like clean some of the blood off my face because it was just everywhere. And so my mom finally came, and she was like, my hand was already starting to swell. It hurt so bad that I was afraid that he broke it. I had never broken a bone before, so I wasn't positive, but that's just how painful it felt. She was like, "Get in the car, we're going to the hospital." So we just grabbed my stuff, got back in the car. While we're in the car, I'm just like holding my hand above my heart, like, because it's swelling so bad already. She tried to ask me what happened, and I'm like, your guess is as good as mine. Like, I guess I shouldn't have pet him, but Jan said that it was okay. So I was just freaking out. Um, so I texted the other girl that was going to be watching the animals just to tell her what happened. I was like, the dog attacked me. He's still contained in his room. I'm okay, but we're going to the hospital. I wouldn't recommend you guys go over there. I just wanted to let her and her mom know what had happened. So we go to the hospital. We get checked in at the ER. And they took us to a little back room. I guess don't think I'd ever been in a room like that before because I never really been in a situation like that. But I guess they have little private rooms instead of like the main waiting room for the ER for like people who are especially sick or like badly injured, so they're not out with the main population, I guess. Because like there were other people in there, like one girl had like a badly swollen black eye. One girl was like doubled over in pain with the really bad stomach ache, like that kind of thing. My mom was trying to get in contact with Jan to let her know what had happened because she was out of town and we couldn't get a hold of her. But it was like in the evening, she's probably doing stuff, but we're just like, we need to get a hold of her, figure out what needs to be done about this. So yeah, so the nurses and stuff were just kind of assessing my wounds. I had to get a tetanus shot because my last one hadn't been for years. We didn't believe he had any chance of having rabies because Jan's usually, you know, on the up and up with that kind of thing, making sure all the animals are taken care of in that department. So we were just sitting in the waiting room, I am just traumatized and in pain and waiting to be seen. So my mom is a social worker, and one of her old clients was in the waiting room with us. So she started talking to him, and he's like, "What are you in for?" And she was like, "My daughter was attacked by a dog." And so she was like talking to him, and but he seemed very nice and he was in a good mood. But he was like asking people if they wanted to play Uno and that kind of stuff, and was trying to talk to my mom. But it's like, not, you know, the people in here aren't really in the mood to be playing games and chatting. So everyone was just kind of not feeling great. But so I would get called away to do something, like they had to do a pregnancy test, they had to give me a tetanus shot, they had to take x-rays of my hand, which it did not turn out to be broken, thankfully. Nothing was badly damaged. It was all like surface level stuff. It just got very swollen. And it was swollen for a while afterwards. But yeah, everything that they looked at seemed fine. I had to get stitches though. And it was my first time ever getting stitches. I've never had stitches before. I had to get 5 in the gash on my cheek. I had to get 3 in the palm of my hand and 2 on the back, I think. It might be vice versa. But and then he did get my foot, but I was still wearing shoes at the time. So there was like a little bitty mark on my toe, but that was it. Like, it hardly even bled. A little bit of something. Oh, he got my lip, and there was a cut on the outside and the inside. Outside from his tooth, inside from mine. But it wasn't bad enough to need stitches. My lip was really badly swollen as well, but that went down fairly quickly. But yeah, so while they were doing the stitches, like, the doctor was so nice. Like, the hospital that we went to does not have the best ratings because, like, a number of reasons. It's not the greatest hospital, but it's the main hospital in my hometown, so it's like where most people go. But literally everyone that we interacted with that night was so great. Like, the nurses that, you know, checked me in and everything were great. The girls who did my x-ray were great. They were both med students, getting like their training hours in and stuff. The guy who did my stitches was great. Like, everyone. So that helped a lot in a very, very stressful evening. Eventually, my mom was able to get a hold of Jan. It's not good cell service within the hospital, so they couldn't really talk there. But once we left, she got her on the phone, and she was like apologizing profusely, like, so sorry that it happened, and you know, all that stuff. I just kind of told her a rundown of what happened. Whatever. She said that she was on her way home from where she was, and she would get there as soon as possible. It was like, I'll help pay for, you know, whatever medical bills you have, send them to me and I'll pay for them, that kind of stuff. So we got home, we settled in, but the thing is, when we were at the hospital, they asked us if we had contacted animal control, we said no, we don't want to get animal control involved. But at the end of the night, one of the nurses told us that it is hospital policy that anytime there's any kind of animal attack, they have to put a report in with animal control. So they had contacted animal control, and a representative would be meeting us at our apartment to take a report, which we did not want. We are animal lovers. All of us are animal lovers. So I understand that he was not doing it to be malicious. He was doing it because he's been abused, and that's what he thought he had to do to protect himself. And we did not want anything to happen to the dog. We wanted him to stay with Jan, to be trained and rehabilitated and find a good home. And that's what we told the representative when she met us at our house. I gave her my report, told her the truth, everything that had happened, and told her we do not want the dog put down. We don't want that. She said that she would, she put it in her report, she passed it along, but she did say that it is policy, since it is not the first time he's attacked someone, that they have to take him and keep him for, I think it was 10 days, and they would evaluate him and see what the best course of action would be. But again, since it was not his first offense, it probably wouldn't be a good outcome. By that time, I believe Jan had gotten home. They went and took the dog, and we were like just keeping our fingers crossed that at the end of those 10 days, they would send him back home with her. And after that, it was just hanging at home, trying to heal. We informed my job. I had, a medical note saying that I would be out of work for it's like 2 or 3 days, something like that. And after that, there were a few things that I couldn't do because I had very limited mobility of my hand that had stitches in it, and they were very understanding. So when I got home, I was just mentally, emotionally, physically tired. I took off my dress and just slept in the same shirt and leggings that I was wearing that day. Just ate some dinner and went to bed. After that, like, me and my mom were just like keeping in touch with Jan. I'm not even gonna go into everything with like my medical bills because we had to get someone else involved, and she like sent some money for it, but I ended up being able to get charity for it. So it was just like completely covered, which was a blessing. But so after that, I am just trying to heal. I am traumatized, obviously, and me and Mom were keeping in contact with Jan, and she ended up trying to make it all about her. And she was like texting us saying like how sad she was, how sorry she was, and all this stuff. And we were getting a little tired of it. We were kind of in a group chat with her so we could all communicate. And there was like one day where she was like, "You don't understand how traumatizing this is for me," and all that stuff. And we were like, I don't doubt that she's going through it because she was trying to take care of this dog. But I was attacked. I was literally attacked. And she's talking about how much trauma she's going through. So my mom texted her and was like, we're so sorry, this has to be hard, but Chelsea's traumatized too. And she texts my mom out of the group chat, sends this long text. I don't remember everything that she said, but basically she was like, "I explicitly told Chelsea not to pet him, and all this stuff, and if she hadn't have pet him, then this never would have happened. I had a text saved where she told both me and the other girl that it was okay to give him soft, light pats. And like, my mom read that text and she got so upset, and I could tell that she was upset. And I asked her what was wrong, and she was like, I don't think you even want to read it because it'll just upset you. And I was like, okay. At first I was like, okay, fine, I don't want to read it then. But after a while, like, the curiosity was just nagging at me, and I'm like, no, I want to read it. So I read it, and I literally just laughed. I just laughed. I was like, if I hadn't have pet him, this never would have happened. I'm like, well, maybe if you hadn't left an aggressive dog with someone he'd only met once, maybe this wouldn't have happened. And after that, like, my mom did not reply to it. She was like, if I reply, I'm just gonna say something, mean. And I'm like, don't even reply to it. And we just stopped replying to all of her messages. She would just like send me little pictures of different animals she was watching and that kind of stuff. And I wouldn't reply to him. Mom was like, she's probably doing that because she feels bad about what she said or something like that. And neither of us just replied at all. And we're like, whatever, she can take care of my medical bills if, it comes to that. But after that, I'm just done with her. I'm not dealing with someone who's gonna, say that about me after I was attacked by a dog. She's just making it all about her and trying to blame me. And like, we had agreed, like, no one was at blame. Whoever abused this poor animal when he was younger, that's the real person who's to blame. Neither of us, you know. And then she goes and says that, and we were just like, we weren't gonna, put up with that. That was ridiculous. 10 days were up with animal control, and they did end up putting him down, which we were sad and disappointed by, but not very surprised, because they told us that since it was a repeat offense, that he probably would not be going back home. And we were like, it is what it is. It happened. It's unfortunate, but we weren't shocked by it. So Jen told us that she was gonna go. She would get his body back. But the day that it happened, I was at work, and I just had this weird feeling that she was going to send me a picture of him. And I was like, surely she wouldn't do that, but just my anxiety was telling me that, like, she's gonna send me a picture of his body. And just like all day, I mean, I wasn't thinking about it all day, but every once in a while it kind of popped in my head, and I'm like, she better not. And like, I didn't really believe she would. And then I get home from work, and she did. She sent me the picture. He was like lying in the back of her boyfriend's SUV or something. And I don't remember what she said. She sent a message with it, and I was like, is he dead? And she was like, yeah, they had to put him down. And I was like, I mean, in that picture, is he dead? And she said that he was passed in that picture. And I was like, I said, why would you send me that? And she was like, I just know that you like fought for him all the way, and I wanted you to know that like you did everything you could. And I was like, you can tell me that without sending me a picture of a dead dog. She was like, I'm sorry, I just thought you would want to see him and all this stuff. And I'm like, I blocked her right then and there. I was like, you're gonna send me a picture of this dead dog to make me feel bad? To make me feel like it's my fault that this happened, when like I know I didn't do anything wrong? my god. What is wrong with her? Seriously. But after that, I was done. I was done talking to her. I was able to get charity for my medical bills, so I didn't have to worry about that. And after that, it was just, you know, trying to heal up my wounds, mentally and physically. But that was just kind of a roller coaster. It was like, I'm just trying to heal and move on with my life after this, and she just kept trying to make me feel like it was my fault. It was ridiculous. Just trying to make it all about her. But yeah, so anyway, I guess that's my story. I do still love animals. I still love dogs. I am a little dog shy still, with dogs I don't know very well. I don't like seeing animal attacks in movies. I can watch them if they happen, but if I can avoid them, I will. But other than that, I'm doing fine. I still have a scar here. It has healed so much since it first happened, but I will probably always have a scar here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be careful with aggressive dogs. Um, be good to animals. Be good to each other. Have a great day. Bye.